Hello everyone, welcome back to Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo and we are bringing you truth without compromise for the family. This is Resurrecting Manhood today. In this segment, we're talking about you, sir, as being the head of the house. And we want to remember those two words, decision and commitment, that we want to make a part of our daily life. And you made that decision, sir, when you took those vows to be the husband of your wife in marriage. And we know that coming along with leadership, there's always responsibility. We can delegate authority, but we can't delegate responsibility. The results of our family are dependent upon us, and it's too much of a burden for our wives to carry. And I know that the vast majority of Catholic families are headed by the wives, even those that are still together, even marriages that are still together, the wife runs the house. And it shouldn't be that way. The wives actually are telling us that if my husband would lead, I would be submissive. So guys, let's take their word for it and let's get on with leading. Now, to get good, solid, clear Catholic teaching in this area, we need to go back almost 100 years. Because just like teaching on the faith over the last 40, 50 years is very vague and unclear and not on point and weak. So unfortunately, that's what we have to do. So we need to go back to an encyclical letter, which is a very high-level document from 1930 by Pope Pius XI called Casti Connubii. And in paragraph 26, the Holy Father says, domestic society being confirmed, therefore, by this bond of love, there should flourish in it the order of love, as St. Augustine calls it. This order includes both the primacy of the husband, he is the head, with regard to the wife and the children, the ready subjection of the wife and her willing obedience. You heard it right, the wife obeys her husband. Used to actually be in the vows, if it isn't in all cases now. Paragraph 27. For if the man is the head, the woman is the heart, and he occupies a chief place in ruling. How's about that for a politically incorrect term? He rules his household, his family. So she may and ought to claim for herself the chief place in love. Now, a couple of things I want to point out about that. Okay, if you have co-leadership, which is commonly misunderstood by the teachings of today, which is not right, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. If you have two heads on a body, what do you have? A monster. And if that heart, as the analogy the Holy Father uses here, the heart has left the heart to become a head, then you have a heartless being, which is the way a lot of families are today. Paragraph 28. Again, this subjection of wife to husband in its degree and in manner may vary according to the different conditions of persons, place, and time. In fact, if the husband neglect his duty, it falls on the wife to take his place in directing the family. Now, that is deviant, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the way it ought to be. It is not the model for the wife to lead if the husband doesn't. It's not to say that it's optional. And this is church teaching. This is not optional. This is not my opinion. Let us follow God's model. And how did He set it up? A good reference to use is the Holy Family. St. Joseph was not required there biologically for that family, but God set it up in such a way that he would be there to lead that family, even though he was the least holy of them all. Okay, now let's take the contemporary church teaching, more contemporary anyway, with Pope John Paul II, and a document not as high of a level in an apostolic letter, Familiaris Consortio, and see what Pope John Paul II says there. Paragraph 28, again, paragraph 25. As for the Christian, he is called upon to develop a new attitude of love, manifesting toward his wife a charity that is both gentle and strong. Gentle and strong, not gentle and weak, gentle and strong, like that which Christ has for the church. And so he's not saying that there should be two leaders. He is just talking about the type of leadership that should be there. So it's as Christ of the church. Men, we have to lead, but it doesn't have to be from a standpoint of domineering or denigration or criticism, but one that is a strong, virtuous leadership, what we might call gentlemanly in today's terms, or in the past would be called chivalry, one of honor and virtue, one that is not selfish, where we're not abusing authority, but one that loves as Christ of the church, giving of ourselves, where we challenge those under our charge and we lift them to their full potential. We keep their standards up. So we have to lead, men. It is our responsibility to lead. That's what our role is. And in order for us to do that, our wife cannot be in that place. She has to be submissive. Now, you're not going to always or very rarely get any kind of support from a priest on that. We've had people write in, say that, and even traditional priests or conservative priests, very devout priests, do not understand this and won't back men who want to lead in their homes and go into this error. So if your wife doesn't understand or doesn't realize that she has to be submissive, then just bring her in front of this video right now and I'll explain to her. Wives, be submissive to your husbands. I just quoted Scripture and it's backed up by papal documents. Why, you may say? Because the kiddies, the little kiddies, won't always be little kiddies. And when the teenage boys come along and they start to buck and the teenage girls start to swoon, there has to be a respected, level-headed man there to hold the standards up for his family. Otherwise, if he has been treated like a child in his own home, then what happens is the kids will play the mom against the dad, and what you have there is called a recipe for disaster. Tell me if you have not seen this example played out in somebody that you know, and this is the reason for it. The dad has to be the head of that home. So men, let's lead. You have the grace of the sacrament of matrimony to lead your family. This is your responsibility. You have the skills. You lead at work, you lead in organizations, but then you don't go home and lead there. What is more important? Your family is of utmost importance to you, and that's not all. You're not just a leader there for just regular day-to-day things. You're the spiritual leader of that home. That's what we'll talk about next time here on Resurrecting Manhood today at Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo. Come back and see us. God bless you.